So, we're heading to see a Rolls 2025 shooting brake. It's a good original car. It's not rusty. It's not rotten. It's really quite a nice thing. It is stored in an old barn in Redding, Connecticut. And a shooting brake is basically the English version of a Woody. So a Woody wagon. Built in, probably had the body put on it, I would guess in the late 30s, maybe sometime in the 40s. So in that period. And what I've been led to believe is that it was definitely the thing to do at the time. Rolls Royces were taxed quite high, and if you put a utilitarian commercial type body on it and could register it as a commercial vehicle, the taxes went down, and you also got an extra ration of petrol, as they call it in England. And so it made sense to take a limousine, to take the body off, and to put a shooting brake Woody body on it and register it as a commercial vehicle. So back in the 30s and the 40s, that was basically what they did. Alright, so here we are in the interior. 1932 Rolls, very well laid out. A lot of what we take for granted back then was mechanical. They didn't make it easy to drive. If you owned one of these cars, it was expected that you would have a little man who would take care of that for you. So a lot of the adjustments, the distributor in a modern car takes care of itself. The carburetors take care of a lot of things, but this was all manually adjusted. The advance and retard on the spark, and choke on the carburetor, and also the mixture. You could change the mixture from here. So all your controls were here. Gauge is well laid out. I mean, she's just even had air conditioning. 1932 version of air conditioning. If you wanted to get a little air, you just had to pop the windshield out, and away you went. And you could even, if you really wanted to get some air on a hot day, let's see if this thing will pop. Yeah, there she will. You would just pop the whole thing out. It was a little bit of bugs in the teeth motoring. Oh, look at this, and this pivots off. That's cool. So just really well, very, very, very well laid out car. Let's see if we can get this thing back in without breaking it. Yeah, there she goes. So everything was high quality. But it's a challenge. I mean, hard to drive. You know, the brakes, there's no power steering, there's no power brakes, it's all manual. So you had to, I mean, I think after a day of driving this car, you had a workout. You knew that you'd been driving. Let's go have a look at the engine. So, this is obviously the engine. Really just an original, you know, wonderfully original old thing. I shouldn't really be futzing with it, but I am. Boy, it's just such great quality and craftsmanship. Everything's machined, you know, so well. All the old Bakelite pieces. It's just so well put together. The engine number is stamped into a lot of the castings. I've not had many Rolls Royces, but it just, you know, the quality of them is just so great. So this one needs to be, I don't know if it needs to be rebuilt or if it needs a new head gasket, but there are challenges with the engine that need to be taken care of. So, but hopefully it should be straightforward. This is the lug wrench for the wheels, and this thing here is the crank. You could turn the engine over and start it without. If the battery was flat or something, you could crank it over by hand, or more likely it would have been used for adjusting the valves. Back in the day, you would have to have adjusted the valves on this on a reasonably regular basis, so it would have The crank handle would have been used to do that. So this is it's a good original car. Great wood. Kind of needs to be restored. Some people would keep it original, but it's kind of a nice thing. Anyway, that's the gist.